Hi everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars. And today I thought we would talk a little bit more about clutter and think about the analogy of our kitchen table and how everything gets covered on our kitchen table. So has our house become the kitchen table in 2021? I thought of that the other day and I thought, wow, with all the decluttering videos and all the decluttering methods and all the decluttering analogies on trying to figure out why we are doing this and how to get rid of these things with Swedish death cleaning, I started thinking our houses have become the kitchen table. It's not just the kitchen table. It has spread over into our entire house. We have stuff that comes from everywhere. It comes from birthdays, it comes from Christmas, it comes from mail, school, work. All of these things come home and then we are expected to store them and to make place for them in our daily lives. And then there's just an overabundance of things that we don't know what to do with, and they really have no place to be in our house. And so I started thinking about Christmas when I was a child. When I was a child, I always knew what I was going to get for Christmas. And yes, that may sound sad, but I was excited. I was excited every year, and I always got the same thing. I got the same pajamas. I got color books. I got a new doll. I got new crayons. I got apples and oranges in my stocking. I always got the same items, but they were different items, and I was excited because I didn't know what my pajamas were going to look like. I didn't know what my doll was going to look like. I didn't know what my color books were going to look like. And so I was still excited for Christmas morning. And I think we've taken away so much excitement by having so much money spent on these things. It has become the point that toys have overflowed from their bedroom to the living room to maybe the kitchen, our bedroom, and they have so much that they are now losing their imagination. And there are studies that are actually done on this, but when I was a child, I had tons of imagination. I had my own mini garden. My parents gardened, and so my dad set me up with a little spot where I could do my own gardening and have my own little mini garden. And I was excited every day to go out and see if anything had grown and to pull my own weeds and to pick my own tomatoes. I also had a sandbox where I made mud pies, and I had little dishes that were no longer good in the kitchen that I used, and I baked my little cookies on this hot little pan in the sun until they dried, where I could pop them off and put them on a little mini plate and pretend to have cookies. I had a fort. I had little places in the yard that had extra trees that I could hide up under and have little getaways to myself where I would sit and read. There were so many ways that I found ways that didn't cost any money and didn't even have any toys. We had animals that I played with. We had chickens. I didn't really like the chickens, but we had chickens, and we had sheep, and we had cats. And so, I mean, even if you don't live in a farm area, you can still find ways to have a creative childhood for your children without everything they have coming from the store to provide their imagination for them in the ways that the toys perform. And so what my spouse and I do, and we've been together now 11 years, we don't buy each other any birthday presents. We don't buy each other any Christmas presents, any anniversary presents, any Valentine's Day presents. We just maybe do something for each other, like go out for dinner, cook a meal for each other, go for a walk, spend the evening together. And I'm never disappointed. And as a female, I am never disappointed because I don't have more things to put in my house. There isn't that expectation there that, oh my gosh, if he doesn't get me this, I'm going to be mad. And he doesn't have that expectation there that I forgot to get him something and then you're rushing out to buy a card. And who does anything with cards? Nobody does anything with cards. The gesture is there, the thought is there, but you can do a gesture and a thought without going and purchasing something. Also, we have moved into such a fast-paced life that we have decided that fewer shopping trips are better because they're time savers, and we buy bigger quantities of things during those fewer shopping trips thinking we are saving time and saving money. But a lot of those things end up spoiling and going to waste. And then we go out the next time and we buy more big quantities of things when we still have quantities of things left over that we haven't used, and they don't end up getting used. So sometimes that isn't even a money saver or a time saver. It's just a waste of money. And so this fast-paced life with fewer shopping trips actually ends up with larger quantities. And then next thing you know, are you one of the people that have a second refrigerator in your garage? We used to have a second refrigerator. I no longer pay a monthly bill for electricity for a second refrigerator. We don't have a second freezer. I know a lot of people that do, and then that second refrigerator ends up being a place for convenience items. Extra pop to keep cold, extra beer to keep cold, extra items in the freezer when you already have a freezer and you already have a refrigerator with a freezer in your house. So these are things to think about as we continue to store things and buy more things. As George Carlin said, a house is a place to keep stuff while you go out and look for more stuff. I think this is what as a society we have turned into. And so think about having that second freezer and that second garage refrigerator. Do you really need that? When I grew up, we had a second refrigerator. It was an old, tiny, one of those small, tiny refrigerators that they used to sell back in the 70s. And that was our old refrigerator from our house that still worked. When we went to buy a bigger refrigerator, we put the older one in the garage, and a lot of people do this. But we went to a dairy farm every week, and we filled up these old gallon screw-on lid containers to put our dairy milk in, and we would fill up 4 or 6 of those at a time when we went to save on going back. And then that garage refrigerator was used for our extra dairy milk. It's funny how we have gone from things like that to things like this, and it just seems like it's been an effortless transition into what we are doing nowadays without even thinking about it. It's just become normal. And I've talked about this a lot in my other videos about how things have become normal that really shouldn't be normal, that are really costing us more money to feel like this is just a normal thing that everybody does. Everybody has a second refrigerator in their garage. Everybody has a second freezer. And so there was actually a study done back in 2012 to 2013, and it was done from the UCLA anthropologists, and they said that the U.S. households have more items than any other society in global history. And do you think that's changed in 2021? I don't think so. I think a lot of us are working towards trying to declutter and trying to get out of the habit of buying things. And I think a lot of us are moving forward with the idea that we are actually spending more money and we have so much waste because we've bought 2 blenders or what have you. Because I think a lot of us have just thought about we need to move forward with this concept that less is more. More is not less. Less is more. So let's get out of the idea that our house has become a kitchen table, and let's get some of this stuff out of our house to make our house the oasis and the relaxing place that it deserves in our life. We deserve that. You deserve that. Let's work together to do that for ourselves. Have a great day.